Have you ever felt the weight of old debts hanging over you, draining your retirement savings, and stealing your peace of mind? You're not alone. Thousands of seniors are paying collectors for debts they may no longer owe, simply because they don't know their rights. In this video, we're diving into 6 specific types of debts that lawyers urge older adults to stop paying, revealing how the law can protect you and your hard-earned money. From medical bills to credit card balances, we'll uncover why these debts lose their power, how collectors exploit fear, and what you can do to take control. Watch until the end to arm yourself with the knowledge to reclaim your financial freedom and live your later years with the dignity and peace you deserve. Before we begin, I would appreciate it if you like this video. You can help me continue to spread the old age lesson. If you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. If you like this video, please comment number 1. If you don't like it, comment number 0 to let me know, so I can make a better video for you. Now let's get started. Number 1. Old medical bills beyond collection. For many seniors, the weight of medical debt feels like an unending burden. This shadow lingers from years of health challenges, perhaps a surgery, an extended hospital stay, or an emergency room visit. Each time a collection notice arrives in the mail, it can stir a sense of dread, as if the past is reaching out to demand more than you can give. What many older adults don't realize, however, is that medical debt, like other forms of consumer debt, has a legal expiration date known as the statute of limitations. This is the period during which a hospital, clinic, or debt collector can legally sue to recover payment. Once that time expires, the debt loses its legal enforceability, offering a pathway to financial and emotional relief. The statute of limitations varies by state, typically ranging from 3 to 6 years, though some states allow up to 7 or even 10 years for certain types of debt. For example, in California, the statute for written contracts, including medical bills, is 4 years, while in New York, it's 6 years. After this period, the debt is considered time-barred, meaning creditors can no longer take you to court to force payment. While collectors may continue to send letters or make phone calls, their ability to harm you legally is gone. This distinction is critical because it shifts the power dynamic, giving you the right to say no without fear of lawsuits or judgments. This knowledge is particularly empowering for seniors, many of whom live on fixed incomes, such as Social Security, and fear that unpaid medical bills could jeopardize their financial stability. A common misconception is that hospitals or collectors can garnish Social Security benefits to recover old debts. However, federal law explicitly protects Social Security income for most creditors, including hospitals and collection agencies. This means that no matter how aggressive a collector's threats may sound, they cannot touch your Social Security checks to satisfy a medical debt. This protection is a cornerstone of financial security for older adults, ensuring that the income you rely on for essentials like housing, food, and medications remains safe. Consider the story of Margaret, a 74-year-old widow living in Ohio. For years, she paid $200 a month toward a hospital bill from a heart procedure nearly a decade earlier, sacrificing her own medications and cutting back on groceries to make the payments. The stress of those collection notices weighed heavily on her, as she believed she had no choice but to keep paying. Then, a legal aid attorney at a local senior center reviewed her case and discovered that Ohio's statute of limitations for medical debt was 6 years. Since the debt was from 2012 and it was now 2025, the hospital had long lost its legal right to collect. Margaret was free to stop payments without consequence, redirecting that $200 a month to her health and well-being. This single piece of knowledge transformed her life, lifting a burden she had carried unnecessarily for years. If you're a senior receiving collection notices for old medical bills, take a moment to pause before sending another payment. Ask yourself, how old is this debt? Has the statute of limitations in my state already passed? You can find your state's statute of limitations through a quick online search or by consulting a local legal aid organization. If the debt is time-barred, you may already be free from its legal hold. This isn't about shirking responsibility. It's about exercising the rights the law provides to protect seniors who have already given so much to their families and communities. By understanding these protections, you can reclaim your financial peace and preserve your dignity, knowing that not every bill in your mailbox demands your hard-earned money. Number 2. Old credit card debt that's time-barred. Credit cards often serve as a financial lifeline during tough times, covering unexpected expenses, bridging gaps between paychecks, or helping with daily necessities. For many seniors, however, those balances from years past remain a source of stress, even long after the card has been canceled or cut up. What you may not know is that credit card debt, like medical debt, is subject to a statute of limitations. Once this period expires, the debt becomes time-barred, meaning creditors lose the legal ability to sue you for repayment. This can be a game-changer for seniors facing aggressive collection tactics. The statute of limitations for credit card debt varies by state, typically ranging from 3 to 7 years. For instance, in Texas, it's 4 years, while in Illinois, it's 5 years for written contracts. After this time, collectors may still send letters or make persistent phone calls, but they rely heavily on intimidation and misinformation to extract payments. Their tactics often prey on fear, hoping you'll feel obligated to pay without questioning the debt's legal status. However, if the debt is beyond the statute of limitations, you are under no legal obligation to pay it. One critical pitfall to avoid is restarting the statute of limitations. In many states, actions like making a small payment, signing a new agreement, or even acknowledging the debt as yours can reset the clock, giving creditors a fresh window to pursue legal action. For example, if a collector calls about a 10-year-old credit card debt and you agree to pay $50 to settle things, you may unintentionally revive the debt, making it legally enforceable again. This is why it's essential to proceed with caution. Never agree to anything over the phone without verifying the debt's age and your state's laws. If a collector pressures you, politely request all communication in writing and take time to research your rights. Consider the case of Robert, a 78-year-old retired bus driver from Florida. 4 years, he received daily calls from a collection agency demanding $4,000 for a credit card he hadn't used since 2008. The agency threatened lawsuits and claimed they could garnish his Social Security, which, as noted, is protected by federal law. Exhausted and afraid, Robert was ready to dip into his savings until he visited a free legal clinic at his community center. The attorney confirmed that Florida's statute of limitations for credit card debt was 5 years, meaning the debt was long past enforceable. Armed with this knowledge, Robert sent a cease and desist letter to the agency, and the calls eventually stopped. His Social Security remained untouched, and he regained his peace of mind, no longer living in fear of every phone call. If you're dealing with old credit card debt, remember that time is often your ally. Check the last date you made a payment or used the card, and compare it to your state's statute of limitations. If the debt is time-barred, you can confidently refuse payment without legal repercussions. This knowledge empowers you to stand firm against aggressive collectors and protect your financial security. If you are still watching this video and finding these lessons useful, please comment number 1 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. Thank you for your valuable time. Number 3. Certain private student loans. The belief that student loans are a lifelong burden is widespread, but the reality is more nuanced, especially for private student loans. While federal student loans have strict repayment rules and are rarely discharged, except in cases of death or severe disability, certain private student loans are subject to a statute of limitations, much like medical or credit card debt. If these loans have been in default for years, lenders may lose the legal ability to sue for repayment, offering seniors a chance to shed this financial weight. The statute of limitations for private student loans depends on the state and the type of loan agreement, typically ranging from 3 to 6 years. For example, in Pennsylvania, the statute is 4 years for written contracts, while in Georgia, it's 6 years. If the loan has been in default beyond this period, it becomes time-barred, meaning collectors can no longer take you to court. However, just like with credit card debt, collectors may still try to pressure you into paying, using tactics that exploit fear or guilt. Knowing your rights can help you resist these tactics and protect your financial stability. Another key concern for seniors is the fear that their student loan debt will burden their children or grandchildren after they pass away. The good news is that federal student loans are typically discharged upon the borrower's death, meaning no one else is responsible for repayment. For private student loans, the rules vary, but in most cases, the debt does not transfer to surviving family members unless they co-sign the loan. If you took out a private student loan years ago and no one else is legally tied to it, your heirs are generally not obligated to pay it after your passing. This can alleviate significant worry, especially for seniors who feel guilty about leaving financial burdens behind. Take the example of Linda, an 82-year-old grandmother from Michigan. In the 1980s, she took out a private student loan to earn a teaching certificate, hoping to start a new career. Life circumstances prevented her from completing the program, but the loan lingered, and she paid small amounts whenever she could, fearing her grandchildren would inherit the debt if she didn't. The stress consumed her, as she lived on a modest pension and Social Security. After consulting a non-profit debt counselor, Linda learned that Michigan's statute of limitations for private student loans was 6 years, and her loan, in default since 2005, was no longer enforceable. Moreover, her grandchildren were not legally responsible for the debt. This revelation allowed Linda to redirect her limited income to her daily needs, like groceries and medical care, and freed her from decades of unnecessary guilt. If you're a senior with old private student loans, take time to investigate the debt's age and your state's laws. If the statute of limitations has passed, you may be able to walk away from the debt legally. Even if collectors continue to call, you can assert your rights with confidence, knowing the law protects you. This isn't just about saving money. It's about reclaiming emotional freedom and letting go of burdens that no longer have power over your future. Number 4. Certain personal loans from friends or family. Among the most emotionally complex debts for seniors are personal loans borrowed from friends, neighbors, or family members. These informal agreements, often sealed with a handshake or a verbal promise, can carry a heavy weight of guilt, even decades later. Many older adults feel a deep sense of obligation to repay these loans, even when circumstances like illness, job loss, or unexpected expenses make repayment impossible. The good news is that, legally, these debts often have no standing if they were never formalized in writing or if they've aged beyond the statute of limitations. The statute of limitations for personal loans varies by state, typically ranging from 3 to 6 years for oral agreements and slightly longer for written contracts. If the loan was never documented or if the repayment period has long passed, no one can legally sue you to recover the money. Unlike institutional debts, personal loans rarely involve professional collectors, but the emotional toll can be even greater. Seniors may replay old conversations, feeling as though they've failed a loved one by not repaying a debt from decades ago. The reality is that life's challenges, medical emergencies, financial setbacks, or family needs, can make repayment impossible. If the debt was never pursued formally and the statute of limitations has expired, the law considers the matter closed. Holding on to guilt over an unenforceable debt only drains the peace and joy you deserve in your later years. Forgiving yourself is just as important as understanding your legal rights. Consider Helen, an 81-year-old from Virginia who carried a heavy burden for over 40 years. In the 1970s, she borrowed $50 from a church friend to cover a utility bill during a tough winter. The friend passed away in the 1990s, but Helen still felt ashamed, believing she had failed to honor her promise. Her daughter, noticing her mother's distress, researched Virginia's laws and learned that oral agreements had a 3-year statute of limitations. The debt was legally and practically gone, and no one could hold Helen accountable. When this was explained to her, Helen wept with relief, finally letting go of a burden she had carried for nearly half a century. If you're a senior grappling with guilt over old personal loans, take a moment to reflect. Is this debt still legally enforceable? Was it ever formalized? If the answer is no, you have the right to release yourself from its weight. These years are for living with peace, not for carrying invisible chains. If you are still watching this video and finding these lessons useful, please comment number 2 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. Thank you for your valuable time. Number 5. Expired medical debts. Medical bills can be among the most intimidating pieces of mail for seniors to open. A single hospital stay, a surgery, or an unexpected procedure from years ago can leave behind a stack of unpaid balances that feel impossible to tackle on a fixed income. The fear of these debts can be overwhelming, especially when collection agencies send urgent notices or make threatening calls. However, like other consumer debts, medical bills are subject to a statute of limitations, and once this period expires, they become legally uncollectible. The statute of limitations for medical debt varies by state, typically ranging from 3 to 7 years. For example, in Florida, it's 5 years, while in New Jersey, it's 6 years. After this time, hospitals and collectors lose the right to sue you for payment. While collectors may continue to contact you, their threats of lawsuits or wage garnishment, which cannot touch Social Security, have no legal backing if the debt is time-barred. Another important protection is that hospitals and clinics generally cannot deny you future medical care due to unpaid, expired debts, ensuring you can still access the treatment you need. The emotional impact of medical debt can be as heavy as the financial one. Many seniors were raised with the belief that every bill must be paid, no matter the cost to their own well-being. This sense of duty can lead to unnecessary sacrifices, like skipping medications or cutting back on essentials to send payments to collectors who have no legal claim. Understanding that expired medical debts are unenforceable can lift this burden, allowing you to prioritize your health and dignity. Take the case of Margaret, an 82-year-old widow from Texas. In 1998, she had a knee surgery that left her with a $10,000 hospital bill. Over the years, she paid what she could, but the balance never seemed to shrink. In 2024, she received a new collection notice demanding the full amount plus interest. Terrified, she considered dipping into her savings until a senior legal counselor explained that Texas's statute of limitations for medical debt was 4 years. The debt was long past enforceable, and Margaret was free to ignore the notice. This knowledge restored her peace of mind, allowing her to focus on her health rather than a bill that no longer had power over her. If you're receiving collection notices for old medical bills, don't let fear drive your decisions. Research your state's statute of limitations or seek free advice from a legal aid organization. By understanding your rights, you can protect your financial security and reclaim the dignity you've earned through a lifetime of hard work. These years are for living, not for paying debts that the law has already closed the book on. Number 6. Utility bills after death. One of the greatest worries for seniors is the fear that unpaid household bills, like electricity, gas, or water, will become a burden for their loved ones after they pass away. Collection agencies may exploit this fear, sending notices to grieving family members or implying that they're responsible for clearing old balances. The truth is that utility bills do not automatically transfer to children or spouses unless their names were also on the account. This legal protection can bring immense relief to seniors planning for their family's future. When the account holder passes away, utility companies typically close the account, and any unpaid balances remain tied to the deceased. Collectors may try to pressure survivors into paying, claiming it's necessary to avoid credit damage or service disruptions. However, unless a family member was a co-account holder or voluntarily takes over the account, they have no legal obligation to pay. Even if survivors choose to continue the service, they are responsible only for new charges, not for debts accrued before the account holder's death. Consider Robert, a 79-year-old from Arizona who spent his final years worrying about an overdue water bill from a drought-stricken summer. He feared his children would be saddled with the debt after his passing. After speaking with a local attorney, he learned that his children could simply notify the utility company of his death, and the account would be closed without transferring the balance. This knowledge allowed Robert to let go of his worry, freeing him to enjoy his time with his grandchildren without the shadow of financial guilt. For seniors on fixed incomes, it's important to understand that utility companies may disconnect services for non-payment, but the debts themselves end with you. No collector can legally bind your family to bills that were yours alone. By letting go of this worry, you can focus on what truly matters: your health, your loved ones, and the legacy of love you leave behind. If you're finding this information valuable, please comment number 6 below to let me know you're here. Subscribing and turning on notifications ensures you stay informed with content that empowers and inspires you. Final thoughts. Growing older brings enough challenges: health concerns, family responsibilities, and the desire to live with dignity, without the added weight of debts you're not legally required to pay. From medical bills tied solely to your name to expired credit card balances, private student loans, personal loans, and utility bills, the law offers seniors more protection than many realize. Yet, too often, older adults suffer in silence, paying collectors who have no legal claim or worrying about obligations that no longer exist. This burden can steal not just your money but your peace, your health, and your joy. The most powerful tool you have is knowledge. By understanding the statute of limitations in your state, you can determine which debts are time-barred and no longer enforceable. By knowing that Social Security is protected for most creditors, you can stand firm against aggressive collection tactics. By recognizing that certain debts, like private student loans or utility bills, don't automatically pass to your family, you can let go of unnecessary guilt. These legal protections exist to ensure that your later years are defined by dignity, not fear. Beyond the financial relief, there's an emotional freedom that comes with letting go of unenforceable debts. Many seniors lie awake at night, haunted by old bills or promises made decades ago. You may feel compelled to sacrifice your medications, groceries, or small comforts to pay collectors who have no right to your money. But your later years are meant for peace, connection, and self-care, not for carrying burdens that the law has already lifted. Take a deep breath and remind yourself, not every bill in your mailbox is yours to pay. By learning which debts you can legally walk away from, you reclaim control over your finances and your future. By freeing yourself from unnecessary burdens, you make room for what truly matters: your health, your relationships, and the joy of living each day with purpose. If you found these insights valuable, consider sharing your thoughts or subscribing to more content to inform and inspire you. Your journey to financial and emotional freedom starts with understanding the rights you already have. Thank you for joining us today as we uncovered the 6 types of debts you may never have to pay again. We hope this information has empowered you to take control of your finances and live with greater peace of mind. What's one key insight you've learned from this video, and how do you plan to put it into practice in your life? Please share your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you, and your feedback inspires us to keep creating content that matters. If you found this video helpful, please leave your comment below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more valuable insights to inform and inspire you. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.